Live right here on Power Play on the Times Now Studios post-match after what was an exciting offering for the first ever one-day international to be played at the Pallekele Stadium in Kandy. Pakistan versus New Zealand. Hello, I'm Anand Narasimhan. With me, Ragini Kumar, and big hello to our four experts on the show. Larry Richards, Sanat Jayasuriya, Shane Bond, and of course, hi Arun Lal joining us from Kolkata. First up, your thoughts, Sanat, on the way the game turned out. Did you expect it to be so exciting at Kandy, at Pallekele?
It was an exciting game, the one-sided game.
That's exciting. Exciting for me.
I think that's a good toss to win. And anybody win the toss in Sri Lanka, if they can get to more than 250, 270 runs, you're in the game. So I think New Zealand batted well, especially Ross Taylor. And he got the advantage, and he had not the best of time earlier on. But halfway through, and he batted really well, and he got 131. So I think that's the key.
You know, I think the New Zealand team was watching our show, the big match breakdown that we were doing before the match started, Shane, because everything that we said, they took it head on, said we are going to prove you wrong. And especially Ross Taylor, because we were talking him up and saying he's just one big knock away from that, taking New Zealand to that win. And we saw that on his birthday.
Everything that we talked about came true. Taylor got runs. We talked about the New Zealand bowlers. If there's a little bit in the wicket, would become harder to play, and that turned out as well. It swung a little bit, so it was a massive performance for New Zealand. The only negative was Vittoria's injury, but otherwise I thought that it was an outstanding display.
As we call the fall of wickets, we're watching the fall of wickets. Alan Donald surely making a difference in that New Zealand bowling lineup, right?
Yeah, AD. I mean, I think he's very competitive. He would make sure that they get their lines right, and if there's a little bit in the wicket, then they're always a competitive unit. I think they hunt as a pack, so they all played their part.
Arun, now the group standings are wide open. We know that New Zealand is on top of the group standings now, and this was the first time an ODI was being played at this pitch. The visitors were given much more than the worth for the money, and all of us sitting here, the fans as well.
Oh, absolutely. Now this entire group has opened up completely. And we were all thinking that, it's a foregone conclusion that anybody who wants to come number one will want to play New Zealand. Now, guys, I tell you, this New Zealand side always does well in the World Cup. So I don't know if there's anybody queuing up to play this New Zealand side now.
All right. Shane, if you look at the way the bowling's turned out, Kyle Mills, Tim Southee, everybody had rated Shoaib Akhtar far ahead of Tim Southee, but he's come back and he's shown that he can get you wickets and bowl in the right areas when the team requires him to do and do the job that is required out of him.
Yeah, when there's a little bit in the wicket, Tim's a very, very good bowler. The challenge for him is when he comes to India in the wickets, there's no swing and there's no swing. Whether he can bowl consistently. I think Shoaib bowled quite well up front today. He got a wicket, created chances, should have had Taylor up for 0, but his fitness paid in the end because when he came back, he's almost on one leg, he was tired and he bowled poorly at the end.
But this match had Ross Taylor written all over it, just the way he performed, especially those last overs which went for more than 100 runs, 46th over. He unleashed himself, bringing up his 100 in style, the crowd loving it, and 27th birthday, this is one he's going to remember forever.
Well, I spoke to Barry, having seen played a lot of cricket with Ross. It was a horrible 75. He just didn't look in any sort of form, and then he's just flicked the switch and he spent the time at the wicket, and then it turned out to be an outstanding 130. The back end of the innings that's what he can do. He's a destructive power hitter.
And because you've played with him, he's a mate of yours. He exulted really hard when he got to that 100, like he had a point to prove to his detractors, to his fans. Just tell us about Ross, that he is as a batsman, as a person in the dressing room.
Oh, he's pretty quiet. He's a pretty quiet sort of guy, a little bit aloof, but he's worked very, very hard. He's always continuing to make improvements. I think the big thing, he's almost putting too much pressure on himself to do well, and I think he tried almost too hard at the start, and once he'd got to that score and relaxed, then we saw what he could do.
Now, Arun, did you expect that sudden surge in the last 6 overs of the New Zealand batting to 100 runs scored of the last 29 balls that were played by the Kiwis? Did you expect that run surge to come suddenly when Ross Taylor turned it on?
Yeah, listen, I did expect Ross to hit a few, but nobody could imagine, 4 overs would yield 92. And those sixes were going off the blade so easily. It's almost, that it's almost unreal. But that's how things have happened. Some innings in this World Cup have been extraordinary. I can't put a fix on it, but this one will stay etched in memory for a while.
Walking across the stumps and hitting those full tosses all across the park for 6 and then getting so many free bonuses at that. Let's take a look at that package once again. We've put together some of those highlights fact, it's more or less highlights plus 29 balls because everything was being carted out of the park. Take a look at this.
And it was tailor-made.
Oh, here we go, and it's gone all the way. Here's a maximum. Oh, chalk it up another maximum.
Symbolic spell.
There's the shorter one, and guess what?
Brother Nathan McCullum with a powerful pull shot. It went a mile, 86 meter over square leg full of massives.
It's a wide full toss.
In the end was a wide full toss. I think it was attempting the Yorker length.
And only blame yourself there, Shoaib. Oh, it's been swung away. That's a big 6. Another full toss. That's gone even further.
Another high full toss and
Watching the middle. Short. Hammered away. It's... Oh, no. Look at this. It's another 6. A 6 and a century for Ross Taylor. Take a bow, birthday boy. That is a birthday century.
spinner operating. Down the track, just a flick of the wrist and it beat Yunus Adel.
Oh, is that the best of them? He moves into position. You can't bowl there to this man.
I guess at this stage.
Final over, 89. And another one.
And watching Ross Taylor there, Shane Bond just quipped that he's a very good hockey player. No wonder he prefers that zone, that area of his that is just over the mid-wicket and that leg side area is a strong side. He's our super performer. Barry, how does he manage to do that? Walk across the stump and then deliveries coming at 140 clicks at him?
Well, sometimes I think you decide where you want to target. You know, you see what fielders are, what you know that Shoaib's going to be trying to bowl, the tailing it in, the reverse swing. So you're trying to get on the right side of it so that you get hit in the area where you feel comfortable. And obviously, the square leg area was where he targeted, and it just showed me that a little bit of a pressure applied to the. They've got a good attack, Pakistan, but when you apply the pressure, I'm not so sure.
So they did crumble under pressure. We saw that, and Kiwis rising to the occasion, winning this big one for their group and topping their group. Sanam, talk about the wicket a bit. Talk about the ground, because this is after really long that Kandy is getting a match. What did you think of it? What did you
were
make of
talking
it?
about the wicket in the morning. I think the wicket was little bit more bounce the whole day today, and also because of the wind blowing across the ground, there was a swing also. So I think that there's a good wicket always. The Pallekele, we played few games just before the World Cup, and the wicket has been really good. Flat in the night, there's little bit of for the fast bowlers. And also sometime today they had extraordinary day because of some dew today, but normally there was not much dew, but today was dew day. But I think the fast bowlers capitalized on those dew because of when you hit the wicket, it skidded through. So that's why even Ross Taylor, I have seen him playing a lot, but if you have the fielders on the leg side, he'll hit there. He want to clear the boundary from that side. So I have seen on IPL matches a lot. He played like a 20-20 game after the 45th over.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah.
Just moving across, that's what he did most of the 20-20 games on IPL. So I think the Pakistan didn't have no plans at all. They didn't even come round the wicket and bowl outside the off stump. And they didn't do anything. They just
Directly to
went through their 50 overs.
Sorry. Now that brings us to our turning point of the game, but obviously has to be the catch drop of Ross Taylor by Kamran Akmal. Arun Lal, the curious case of Kamran Akmal, what ails him? What is his problem? Is there a problem with technique or is there a problem with concentration?
I think a bit of both, possibly, because I've seen him have really terrible days, and this is not the first that he's had. So there's a bit of a problem there as a keeper, and I like what Ian Chappell said. That he said even if he was Bradman, I'd probably have to drop him if he was keeping like Kamran Akmal.
That brings us to a burning question, Arun. That do you think Pakistan is taking a little bit too easy when it comes to the wicketkeeper? Because should he be axed? Because the way we have seen, it's not the first time that there has been a drop in concentration or dropping those wickets. We're taking your calls live. Tell us what you think. Was he the weakest link in Pakistan because he gave 2 lives to the man of the moment, Ross Taylor, once on duck and once on 4? 4. Shane, obviously very lucky. Ross Taylor there, and Kamran Akmal making an absolute mess of delivery there. Twice.
I thought Pakistan were generally poor today. I think we've talked about it. If you don't hold your catches in this tournament, you're going to find yourself knocked out. He's still probably their best wicketkeeper batsman. So at the end of the day, they're going to go with experience and their best keeper batsman, and they'll be thankful that he's had his bad day today, and hopefully doesn't have it in the knockout phase.
Now, is this a problem with technique or concentration?
I think more. I think in Pakistan's case, the other thing that I noticed, you know how Afridi's been running over to the bowlers, talking to the bowlers, arm around the bowlers today. He was as far away as you could ever see. So that just shows me that when the pressure's on, they sort of the basics escape. Well, the basics escape them. So that there's no encouragement. The shoulders drop, everything's down. So the concentration goes, the catch comes, down it goes.
The point Ragini made earlier on in our pre-show, Pakistan have this thing of imploding.
Yeah.
When the pressure happens, they just tend to implode. On that note, we've got our first caller. Guess this is Sanjay Tiwari. Good evening, Sanjay. Thanks a lot for calling in. What's your opinion, your thought on our burning question?
Good evening to all the panelists from, I am Sanjay Tiwari from Mumbai.
Good evening, Sanjay. Go ahead.
Actually, first I just want to mention that should the panelists doesn't feel that Ross Taylor has made other teams vary in this World Cup from this New Zealand side. And my second answer to your burning question is that this innings of Ross Taylor, can this innings should not be rated with Vivian Richards and Sir Kapil Dev?
All right.
Vivian Richards and Sir Kapil Dev. Shane Bond, what do you have to say?
Oh, look, I think there's no surprises in this World Cup, really. Bar a couple of bowlers, everybody knows what everybody else is capable of. So the thing for me is everyone looks at a game and talks about momentum. For me, it's almost irrelevant here. The teams are so even. It's going to be about turning up on the day, taking your catches, and keeping your composure when you're under pressure and doing those little things and having those plans right. That's who's going to win the World Cup.
But do you think, like Barry said, you can't win the jackpot every time you go into the casino? Is Ross Taylor going to be consistent with his performance, or this was just his one-off?
Well, who knows? The key is just trying to be consistent. Every day, every batter goes out trying to score runs. It's not going to happen for you every day, but if you're going to win the tournament, you're going to need 2 or 3 of your batsmen to do it on those quarter-final, semi-final, final.
Now, tell you what, if you look at his batting graph, be it IPL or international career, one big innings is backed by an ebb. So there's a peak and a trough. Now we got Mona from Chennai who's been standing by. Hi Mona, thanks a lot for calling in. What's your thought?
Hi Anand.
Hi, go ahead.
Can I speak to Ragini first and wish her a very happy Women's Day?
Thanks Mona, that's really sweet of you. Same to you. What's your question?
I would love to speak to Mr. Arun Lal, please.
Yeah, he is listening. Go ahead.
Arun, Mr. Arun Lal, you were really not on when you said that they're going to win this match, the New Zealanders. At least Shane Bond would say it, but an Indian saying it, I think it's great. And you really hit. Watch the sixes that they hit. It was a fantastic game. And best of luck to India tomorrow. You're wearing the blue, so good.
Arun?
Yeah, listen. Now, normally whatever I predict doesn't come off, Ragini, but this is one of those days. I just had a feeling that you go for New Zealand.
Well, the funny feeling started from this left-hand corner chair. Whenever Sanath was sitting that day and he called England, it happened. Today, Barry was sitting and he said, I have a funny feeling it's going to be New Zealand, it happened. And on that note, let's pick out our moments of this match. We've pulled out a few of them which are standout. And as we play them to you, Sanath, what would stand out in your memory? Saudi's wickets, Kamran Akmal's drop catches, or do you think Daniel Vittori's injury?
I think the fast bowlers had improved a lot in this particular game, New Zealand fast bowlers. I think Alan Donald would have had something with them, and also they would have line and length in Sri Lanka is different, because the Sri Lankan wickets tend to little bit of moving, seem a little bit more than in India. So I think they would have done their homework a little bit more than the other players with Alan Donald. That's why they bowl really good line and length, hitting the right areas most of the time, and bowl moving away and coming in the same area all the time, just south of the off stump and off stump. I think that was a very good bowling by all the fast bowlers.